Whoa, whoa.
You're always welcome here.
Greetings. What do you want?
Are you Pint?
I am. Why?
I'm looking for his dinner.
I don't know any Stenner.
Sternad said something different.
You're a friend of Sternard's, are you?
Ah, God forbid. That's all I need. A friend like that bastard. But he was the only one who really knew Stenner.
You're right there. Stenner was always cursing him. He was as lazy as a pig, but always wanted his share.
So you knew Stenner? Can you tell me anything about her?
I know Stenner all right, but she ain't been here in some time. Why are you looking for her? What do you want from her?
I'm looking for a... Back in the city, they think she's either dead or run off somewhere. And you're the last person to see her before she went missing.
Kurva.
What can you tell me about Stenner?
She always had it hard. She lost her parents and her home as a child. She had to learn to take care of herself.
And what about Sternad? How does he fit into this?
Sternard was her guardian angel, as she used to say. If she hadn't been thieving with him, she probably would have ended up a whore. But by sharing with him, she could do what she wanted.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised she stuck with him as long as she did.
That's because she had a hideout somewhere nearby. That's why she'd come to me with her loot, before they taxed her on the spot. And the last time she was here, she said one more haul like this, and she'll be able to go wherever she wanted, to Prague or Vienna.
I heard she wanted to sell you some valuables. Is that true?
Oh, aye. She had a good haul, no rubbish. Mostly jewelry, rings, one signet ring with a coat of arms and everything. She left it all here. I paid her a pretty sum of coin. It was a good thing she had a basket with her, otherwise she couldn't have carried it all.
And what about that signet ring? Do you still have it?
She didn't sell me the ring. She wanted to keep it. Said it'd bring her luck someday.
Do you know what kind of luck she meant? Did you recognize the signet on the ring?
No, I didn't recognize that signet. But all the while, Dana was giggling to herself. I reckon she had her eye on another mark.
Where did she go next from here? You said she had a lot of coin on her.
That she did. She also had a feeling someone was following her. Someone on a horse.
Someone followed her on a horse from Kuttenberg. Did she say what he looked like?
She didn't. At first, she thought it was some wealthy lord out for a ride. But he held back. Never passed by her and...
And did you see him? Did he come all the way here?
No. But Zdena thought he would show. She even left her scarf here and paid some girl to walk around with it to make it look like she was still here.
And then where'd she go?
She wanted to go the back way, through the woods, so nobody could follow her. Past the woods is a road and a ford across a stream. Next to it is a huge boulder. When it rains, the water can rise fast. The road goes on to Kuttenberg.
Well, if it leads back to the road and there was really someone following her, I reckon if they saw she was long in returning, they could have waited for her at the ford, no?
Fuck! That's quite possible. I made a point of looking, but I didn't see any riders that day, so I forgot about it.
Is Denna's scarf? Do you still have it?
Aye. I wanted to give it back to her the next time she came.
Will you give it to me? I'll try having my dog track her down.
All the same to me. Here you go. But it's been a long time. I don't know if it will help.
And could it have been Father Prokop following her?
What do I know? If he has a horse and fancy clothes. But why would he do it?
I heard he wanted to find her an honest job, but she wasn't interested.
I don't know. She didn't say nothing about that.
And could it have been William?
And who would that be?
He's this bard she was seeing.
I don't know about that. I don't remember her mentioning nobody by that name.
Well, I'll go and check out that fort. Maybe I'll find something there.
I hope you don't. Farewell, sir.
That has to be that ford Pike was talking about. I should take a look around here. Poor thing. She didn't get very far. Ugh, she's been lying here a long time. At first glance, this body isn't as mutilated as the others. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody strangled her like the others. She's been lying here too long for that, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer hit her with a rock, or dashed her hard against the ground. She must have put up a fight. Or maybe he lost his patience. Oh, she's all stuck to her clothes. They're torn up, but I don't see any cuts. The rips are odd. Like someone was looking for something. Oh, I can't make much out by now. But it seems as if the fingers on her right hand are broken. Did the murderer torture her? Or was he trying to get something out of her hand? Oh! My God. Oh, something fell out of her. A signet ring. Oh, that must be the one she stole. How did it get inside her? Did she swallow it herself? Or did the murderer shove it in there? Was she trying to hide it? Or was it punishment for stealing? Well, that's enough. But what does it all mean? I'd say she put up a decent fight, and the killer had to improvise. And that's about all I can find out. She's probably been lying here a few weeks, but that ring is a good lead.
The Lord.
Greetings.
I found out some interesting things about those murders. Just like you said.
That's wonderful news. But wait a while. I promised Catherine we'd wait for her.
You know Catherine?
She came to see me soon after you did, and started asking me questions. Just like you.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else shows up. How did it go?
I reckon I've found out all I can.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not exactly, but I have a few ideas.
I've asked around a bit, and I have my own suspicions.
Is that so? See, I was trying to recall some more details, and I had someone come to mind as well.
Oh, I didn't do all this for nothing, did I?
Well,
Well? Who do you suspect now?
Well, I'd say William did it. The minstrel.
You can't be serious. He's innocent.
Uh-huh. And who do you think it was?
Prokop. I'm sure of it.
No. Really? That's impossible. It couldn't have been him.
So I see we disagree. Too bad. We could have been done with it quickly.
Well, who do you think it was then?
I'm not entirely sure. First, I'll tell you what I found out, and then it might be easier for us.
Go on then. Starting with who?
Let's talk about Yarka, the one raised by Father Prokop.
What did you learn about her?
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the goodness of his heart. He was actually her uncle.
Really? But he still could have killed her.
His own relative?
Why not? He's a priest. I'm sure he knows the story of Cain and Abel.
Prokop also admitted that he didn't know how to handle her, and perhaps he was too strict.
What do you expect from a Bible thumper? Man punishes and God forgives. It never occurs to them that if man didn't punish, God wouldn't have to forgive.
Well, maybe I wouldn't hold it against him. He really tried to make sure she was well taken care of. He wanted to find her a husband, too.
And did you learn who he found?
No. I think it fell apart when Yarka started rebelling. Yarka started working for the von Grolla family, where she remained until her death.
I was there to ask whether she'd given them any trouble, but they said she was always thorough and reliable.
Ah, so what's the story with von Grolls?
A very wealthy and important family. The mother is quite devout, known to spend a lot of time in prayer. Old von Grolla's been sick for years. Can't even get out of bed.
So, who runs affairs?
That would be young Hendel. They say he's quite successful.
Before her death, I heard she often went to dances.
There's nothing wrong or surprising about that. But maybe she found someone there.
Maybe. Prokop was convinced that she went to see William. That was actually the only name he mentioned.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means she had some relationship with William, or at least knew him.
And now, most importantly, Yarka was pregnant when they killed her.
I didn't know that. Do you know for sure? So they gutted her.
To make it impossible to tell she was pregnant? I wouldn't be surprised.
May God forgive us.
Do you know who she was pregnant with? Because if we know who the father is, we'll likely know who the killer is.
She didn't tell Prokop.
It had to be someone from those dances. Maybe William.
Prokop is convinced that she was murdered by that bard, William.
And I agree with him. I heard the daughters of important men come to see him. It even went so far he had to flee the city. And the moment he's back, there's another murder.
Really? But I found out you accused Prokop first, Lumir.
What? Why?
It doesn't matter. It was a mistake, and I paid for it.
And were you as sure then as you are now about William?
I don't think so. But he's a skirt chaser. If he got Yarka pregnant, then...
Perhaps. But why would he kill and mutilate her? He could have just run away.
But then he could never come back.
Why not? He could come back a year later, once things have died down, the child would be born, the shame forgotten, and nobody would bring it up again.
I suppose that makes sense. That's all I was able to find out.
You still found out more than I did.
But it's not enough. We still don't know who the killer is.
But we can agree that she was killed because of her pregnancy, can't we?
Agreed. Somebody got rid of her to make sure nobody found out she was pregnant.
I'm sure William wanted...
William isn't the only man with a prick. And he certainly didn't use it to strangle her to death.
Such language. What are you trying to say?
That making babies and murdering folks require different tools.
But who would it be if not the father?
Someone who stood to lose something because of the child. Money, reputation, honor.
Freedom?
I managed to find Stanya.
Alive? You found her alive?
I did. Alive and well. Hiding with the charcoal burners.
So, she's not one of our victims?
She is. She just managed to escape the killer. She said she was attacked on her way home from the baths. She heard somebody talking in a side street, but it was empty. But when she walked by, someone grabbed her by the throat and started strangling her.
And how did she manage to get away?
She was holding an empty pitcher, and she smashed the killer in the face with it. He either got startled or hurt, but he let her go.
Did she get a look at him? Did she take his eye out or something?
No, she didn't stop to find out. Just ran. Which is probably why she survived.
And what about the blood in the bedroom?
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She didn't stay in her room for long. She was still so scared that she grabbed her things and ran off to her beloved charcoal burner. She said she returned from the baths in the evening regularly, and somebody knew exactly which way she would take and where to wait for her.
You mean someone followed her beforehand to figure out where to ambush her?
Who knew that she went to the baths?
Apparently everyone in the tavern. She didn't hide the fact. She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. He may be a pig, but the evening she ran home, he was in bed snoring. Well, according to Stanya, the murderer had a terribly strong grip. Her neck was bruised for almost a month.
Doesn't almost every man have a strong grip?
Depending on what they take in hand every day. A tankard, a quill, or a hammer.
Except none of our suspects are miners or blacksmiths, eh? According to Stanya, the murderer didn't say a word the entire time.
That's strange, right? I'd expect him to at least call her a whore.
The only word he uttered was when she smashed him in the face with the pitcher. He said Scheisse.
So, we're looking for a German?
Even I say Scheiße sometimes, and I'm not German.
Besides that, she also recalled hearing two voices in the alley. Someone was talking to the killer.
So we have a witness. Now, just to find him.
Or an accomplice. If I remember correctly, the other one must have seen the whole thing, right? And he didn't go to report it.
I asked Stanya if she knew Prokop. She said no.
Maybe she just doesn't remember him. Or he gave a different name, or...
I don't think Father Prokop is the type to frequent the worst tavern in Kuttenberg.
Stanya admitted that she knows William. He flirted with her and tried to get to know her better, but nothing came of it.
And that's probably why I wanted to kill her. And likely rape her before that.
Well, perhaps, but Stanya doesn't think so. She's sure it wasn't William, and no matter what they say about him, in her eyes he's a good lad. And that's all that Stanya told me.
I'm so glad that girl is alive.
Me too. At least someone's had a little luck. Does she want to come back, or will she stay with the charcoal burners?
I don't think she'll come back. She's so scared now they'll come back for her, she doesn't even leave the house. I managed to find Zdena.
You found her? Is she alive too?
No. Unfortunately, she's dead.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill she used to sell things at. Someone caught her in the forest when she was coming home with a load of coin and killed her. I reckon she put up a hell of a fight. So the killer got nervous and ended things quickly.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate her?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time, so I couldn't really tell. But he definitely didn't hack her up like the others. Judging by what her accomplice said, she robbed someone good. She had so much jewelry on her, she could hardly carry it. And what's odd is when she was murdered, the killer left her basket of valuables behind.
So I reckon he didn't kill her for the money.
She said someone followed her on horseback from Kuttenberg. She tried to lose him, but apparently wasn't able to.
On horseback? I don't suppose she described him, did she?
Only as a wealthy type who never got too close.
That doesn't fit in with the previous murders.
Father Prokop came looking for Zdena and nearly cursed her on the spot.
What did he have in common with a thief?
He had also looked after her, but unlike Yarka, she ended up on the street, and he took it badly. Zdena tried to rob young von Grolle. It's possible she succeeded.
Von Grolle? Yarka worked for them, didn't she?
That whole family is suspicious.
Assumptions. Nothing more.
I'd say it's pretty obvious. Why else would I have found that ring on her?
They just left the ring by her body. That's odd, isn't it?
It wasn't by her body. It was inside of it. I don't know if she swallowed it herself or someone shoved it in her.
That's awful. But I can't say it surprises me.
My mouth is starting to hurt from all this blabbering.
So are my ears and head.
Come now, we're nearly there. We just need to find our suspect. So, Henry, who do you think did it?
I suspect one of the von Grolles.
What leads you to think that?
Are you sure it wasn't William?
Yarka was their maidservant until she started rebelling, right?
Yes. Do you think she was rebelling because of someone in particular?
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
Yarka was pregnant. And if the father was young von Grolle, it would make sense if he got rid of her.
Sakra, you're right.
But William could have fucked her too. Just saying.
Zdeno was followed by someone on a horse. Von Grolle could afford a horse.
That's not so sure, is it? And maybe the horse was stolen or borrowed.
But it certainly worsens the case for him. That much is true.
Zdeno robbed von Grolle.
That's true.
It's all coming together, isn't it?
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that it was young von Groll?
Well, old von Grolle can't do much now, can he?
So do we really agree that our most likely suspect is young von Grolle?
Aye. I agree.
I don't have a problem with it. Little rich boys are capable of anything. But what are we gonna do about it? Our suspicions aren't enough.
They'll just laugh at us without something more tangible.
So, you want to search their house?
There's nothing else we can do. There must be a clever way to do it.
We have to find some evidence. None of our conjecture is enough. What will we do?
You could sneak in there.
Or break in?
Catherine, that's not necessary. The young lad wants to learn swordsmanship, and the old one is sick and always calling for a physician.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbones or a swordsman, or break in? That's a lot of options.
You're a clever lad. You'll figure it out.
Can I help you?
Is this the house of the von Grolle family?
Yes?
I'm Henry of Skalitz. Master Menhard from Frankfurt sent me to train young Master Hendel in sword fighting.
I'm sorry, but I know nothing about it.
Are you telling me I'm not expected? The Master Swordsman won't be pleased.
No, this is surely my mistake. Please, come in. Go to the courtyard. You'll have more than enough room there. I'll send the young master to you immediately. God be with you, sir.
I must admit that I didn't expect anyone so soon. Master Menhard said I'd have to wait a while for my lessons.
Well, that's true. But we had an opening, and Master Menhard immediately thought of you.
But of course. That's good. It doesn't matter. I'm actually glad it turned out like it did. At least Mother will leave me alone for a while.
What do you mean?
She's always trying to keep me at home. Says I go out with girls too much. She'd rather have me praying all day and night like her.
Well, maybe a sword fighting lesson will help you.
Maybe. But first I want to see if you have anything to teach me. Ready?
I'm not. I've only got a sharp weapon.
Really? You wanted to draw iron right away. Well, I can lend you one. But next time, bring your own. Schädigt zum Teufel!
Well, I hope the young lord is assured he has much to learn from me.
Yes, the young lord learned it the hard way.
And after a few lessons, you'll only get better.
I hope so. I know the basic steps, but lack the finesse. I admit.
Excellent. That's enough for today. But before I go, I'd like to ask you something. What type of weapon are you most interested in?
A sword, of course. It is fitting for someone of my standing.
And what about a cleaver? Or a hunting sword?
Pah! A cleaver is more fitting for some yokel or bandit. Or a butcher. And a hunting sword? My father used to have a beautiful one. I don't even know what happened to it. I wouldn't be ashamed of that one. But otherwise, they are for fat burghers and poor mercenaries.
And what about an axe? Have you ever held one?
No. Do you take me for a woodcutter?
Have you ever killed anybody?
What kind of question is that? Of course not.
I meant in battle.
How else could you have meant it?
Enough small talk. I want you to practice the basic posture. Nice and slow.
Yes, master.
What the hell? That's hair. All kinds of brown. I bet it belonged to those dead girls. If this isn't proof, nothing is.
happen here. You have a kind master.
Greetings. Mugs for sale.
I need to discuss that visit to the Von Grollers.
Excellent. Let's find Catherine. You can tell us everything.
I think we were right. Something seriously fishy there.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. What did you find out?
You found something there, didn't you? Evidence?
I certainly did. In the young lord's room.
What was it?
This. He had it in a chest in his room. Locks of hair. All brown, but all a bit different. They're definitely from those murdered girls.
Hair? But that's not enough. That definitely won't suffice as proof.
Why wouldn't it? He took them as a keepsake from the dead girls, as a trophy. It was him!
But nobody will believe us. We need more than just hair. A bloody dress or the murder weapon.
And to be honest, I don't think we're going to find anything like that. They're pretty careful to cover their tracks.
Damn it. We're fucked. If we at least had a witness.
And what about 3 witnesses at once?
Where are you going to find 3 witnesses when you don't even have one?
I don't yet, but... Look, we're almost certain young Hendel did it. So what if we set a trap and catch him in the act?
And how do you want to do that? I mean, we don't know who he's planning to murder next.
We'll set someone up. Some brunette.
You want to sacrifice some poor girl?
No, nobody's going to get hurt. We'll be keeping our eye on her the whole time.
The only one I can think of is Stanya. And I highly doubt that she'd want to risk her life again.
She won't have to. I'll do it.
But you haven't had anything to do with him. He'll see through it immediately. It'll fail.
We'll wait until the lad's out of the house. Maybe we'll dress Catherine up a bit, and she'll go asking for the young lord, father of her child. When Hendel comes home and hears what happened, he'll come looking for her to fix things up.
I'll cause such a scene, they'll be talking about it for years. Then we'll tell them where he can find me, and we've got him.
If you say so. But where can we do it? We can't do it here. They'd figure it out pretty quick.
We can use one of the rooms here in the tavern. It has only one way out. You'll be hiding across the way, and jump out at the right moment. I repeat, at the right moment.
Don't worry, we won't take our eyes off you.
Where's Hendel? I need to talk to him! Do you hear me? I have to talk to him about our wedding. I won't be left alone with his child.
What are you screeching about, you ninny? There's no Hendel here. Certainly not for the likes of you.
Do you hear that, folks? He fucks me from all sides. Gets me with child, and now he doesn't want to know me.
Get rid of her. Disgrace.
Oh, so a poor woman has to suffer because of a man's lust. As if it wasn't already bad enough before.
What lies are you spouting, you strumpet? Goodman Hendel never laid eyes on you. Besides, you're too old for him. Nobody will believe your lies.
Old am I? He came to me himself because he wanted a mature woman to breed with. And he never even pulled it out. And he filled me up like a wineskin. Suit yourself. I'll give you some time to think it over. But either you come up with an offer of marriage by evening, or first thing in the morning I'll go to the bailiff. And I'll be damn sure to get justice from him. It's open.
I've come to talk with you.
Where's Hendel?
Hendel, you wanton whore! Debauching my son! A nanny goat like you! The others were at least young, but you! Oh, Christ, the trials I have to endure! A husband with both feet in the grave and a son who'll fuck anything with a hole in it. Slice her up so no one will recognize her, and in case what she says is true, gut her too.
Gutting, is it? I can help you with that.
Get that bitch, you fool!
I'll get you!
Before I finish you off, I have to ask, why the fuck did you kill them?
I'll tell you, but you aren't going to like it,
I'm listening.
because it's the right thing to do.
What's right about murder?
All those whores had it coming.
You know that's not true. Stan, you hardly knew Hendel, and you still tried to kill her. How many of the others had the same story?
Rubbish. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, and not just me. He might have met the alehouse wench by chance, but they were intimate together. The mistress was convinced they were meeting in the evenings.
Well, she might have been convinced, but that doesn't mean she was right. That girl had a sweetheart.
That's even worse. He surely wasn't a rich and important person like Master Hendel, and she would even cheat on our master with him? Disgusting.
Confess, then. How many of them did you kill altogether?
Not enough! There's always more who deserve it. They climb out of their holes like rats and infect respectable families. Just like that companion of yours. She certainly sins as much as she breathes, the lured whore.
Oh, you're completely mad. My God.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain. It's a deadly sin.
Then I suppose we'll be meeting in hell one day. It was all Mandalina's idea, wasn't it? She wanted them killed.
And can you blame her? That first harlot was already itching to become Mistress von Grole. That bastard of hers wasn't Hendel's anyway, but he was stupid that time. He'd have believed her. Now he knows very well, luckily, that they're all whores. He doesn't cry for them anymore.
And Mandalina just came to you like that, out of the blue. And you immediately obeyed her.
Well, one time she came to my chambers and she told me she knew very well that Yarka rejected me and that she'd started an affair with Master Hendel, while she was also spreading her legs for others in the evenings, and that she had to be punished before she brought misfortune on someone. And
Go on. I'm listening.
that she deserved to die for all her sins, and she was right.
Don't worry. I'm not going to kill you. I'll hand you over to the city law.
I'm not worried, I'll have you know. My conscience is clear. They were all nobodies anyways. The bailiff should thank me for cleansing his city of them.
Oh, shut your mouth already. Don't make me regret my decision.
No, Catherine.
Catherine, wait.
What should I wait for? I'm gonna cut that bitch's throat.
How dare you? Hands off, you heretical scum!
Shut up.
Let her speak. I still don't understand what actually went on here. I have some questions for you.
I'll tell you nothing, you serpent! Nothing! You can't keep me here! Let me go! I'm a woman of worth.
If you won't speak now, then the executioner will loosen your tongue when your feet start burning. But why wait, right? I'll cut your ear off. Maybe both of them. All you need to talk is a tongue.
No! Let me go!
Why did you do it, for Christ's sake?
Don't blaspheme, you heathen.
Come on, answer him or it's gonna hurt.
My husband, he drank a lot, ran around with whores and didn't pray enough. And God punished him for it. I couldn't allow the same thing to happen to Hendel.
And why kill those girls? Why not just talk to him about it?
I tried, but he wouldn't listen to me. He told me he wanted to sow his wild oats before finding a wife.
So your own son didn't listen to you? And you started killing the girls
who seduced him and emboldened him with their brazenness? If they wanted to whore themselves out, they'll pay for it in hell. But there's no way they were going to drag my Hendel there with them.
And what about Hendel? Did he know what you were doing?
That I was taking care of his immortal soul and eliminating his temptation? Of course not. But one day he'll be grateful to me for it.
He's going to jump for joy. His mother a mad woman, and his servant a murderer.
Speak politely to me, you whore.
Henry, if you have any more questions, you'd better ask them quickly. I'm sorely tempted to finish this here and now.
And what about the hair in Hendel's chest? You're trying to tell me he wasn't involved, but he was keeping their hair?
Well, he kept asking about those whores of his. So we always brought him a lock of hair. We told him it was from them, as a parting gift.
Well, he didn't find that strange?
Out of sight, out of mind. He always found some new harlot anyway.
There was no blood where Alice was found. Where did you kill them?
That was up to Thaddeus. He told me something about an abandoned barn. I only told him to cut them up thoroughly.
Why?
Why? As a warning. So those whores knew what awaited them. To put the fear of God in them.
Do you realize you also killed girls who had nothing to do with Hendel?
That's not possible. I saw them all with my own 2 eyes, chatting with him and giggling.
And what about that alehouse wench?
That strumpet. I saw how she treated him. It's a damned shame she got away.
But she really had nothing to do with Hendel.
She wouldn't have smiled at him the way she did if she didn't want to fornicate with him. They all deserved it. Every single one. And better sooner than later. That trollop in our service even got herself with child. And she wanted to keep it. The slut.
And what about Zdenna? All she did was rob him, and you killed her anyway.
She fawned over him like all the others. He even gave her a ring, which she probably sold immediately. She deserved it. She was a thief, and stealing is a mortal sin.
I'd better stop asking questions.
Burn in hell, all of you.
What'll we do with her now?
Let's take her to the bailiff. She'll get justice there.
We don't have to go anywhere. I'll give her justice right here, right now.
But we can't do that. She has to go before the court. The law must be upheld.
Did you hear her? I mean, she hasn't got her head on straight. And what judgment will there be? She's from a wealthy family. Nothing will happen to her.
Don't you dare judge me. Only God can do that.
Shut your mouth, you sow. You judged and punished some random girls, and now you'll blaspheme like that?
Our Lord directed me. I did it through His will.
Do you hear that? And you want to let her live?
But that's not justice. It's murder. Henry, won't you say something?
I told you, don't you dare judge me. I am a servant of God.
Put away that knife, Catherine. We'll hand her over to the law.
Don't tell me you'd let her get away with it.
She's not going to get away with anything. She killed so many people. If she's lucky, they'll just hang her. If not, she'll be buried alive.
That's right. We caught her in the act, and she's confessed to us. They can't just let her go.
Of course they can. It's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You'll see that all these rich burgher and lords have their own justice.
That won't happen. I guarantee you she...
You can't guarantee a thing. You're not the bailiff and you won't be judging her.
She's right, though. We can't just let her out into the streets. She must be punished. And if not, then you can always go and pay her a visit, right? You know very well who she is.
All right then, you last of the righteous. Take that viper away and may God protect you if they set her free.
Don't worry. I'll take her away.
Well, this was a lot stranger than I expected. Do you think we did the right thing?
I'm not sure of anything anymore. Not even myself. Can we just be quiet for a while?
As you wish. But still, it was damned odd.
Aye, that it was. Let's go and see Lumia. I wonder how he fared.
Tell us, Lumir. How did it turn out?
Did it end well? Oh, we're not going to get into trouble now, are we?
It ended well, and I didn't even tell anyone about you.
I'm surprised it worked out. Both of them must have been lying through their teeth.
Well, if it came to it, I would have had to bring you both in as witnesses. But fortune smiled upon us.
They didn't admit to it, did they?
Sort of. The servant shouted that he was forced into it by Mandalina. And Mandalina completely lost her mind and started screaming that it was the right thing to do. And anyone in her place would have done the same.
My God!
Oh, if she had an ounce of sense, she would never have started murdering. What'll happen to them now?
Thaddeus will hang. No doubt about that. And Mandalina, right now she's locked up. We'll see what happens to her.
I knew it!
She'll be punished, and not hurt anyone else. That's enough for me.
And what will you do now? Will you go back to the town hall, Lumir?
It's true I've made amends in the eyes of the law, but I probably won't go back now. Maybe better to write something about it. Who knows?
Won't you go back to drinking?
No, it didn't help anything, did it? If I had just persevered instead, I should have pitied those girls, and not myself.
Don't fret. It was a terrible mess, and all three of us had to put our heads together.
Yes. You helped me when I was in need, and didn't even know it. Maybe I'll just keep helping as long as I can.
Helping others is the best thing a person can do in this world.
And what will you do, Catherine? Will you stay here?
My work isn't done yet. I have to work in the tavern here, and then we'll see. Maybe I'll find work elsewhere.
Do you think we could have done better?
Everything can always be done better. But most important is to do it well and quickly.
Catherine is right. I'll still be kicking myself. Maybe to my dying day. But none of us did anything bad.
That's not entirely true.
I'm talking about innocent people. No more girls died because of you. And that's good.
Well, let's go our separate ways.
Thank you, lad. You prevented future murders. And you also saved me. And for that, I will be eternally grateful.
I thank you both. Without you, the devil knows how it would have turned out.
Here you are, as a keepsake. And perhaps as a reward. And if you ever pass by, look us up.
Yes, here is a reward, Henry. And Lumir, we shall certainly meet again.
My humble respect.
I have not changed my answer. I will not sell you the rights to my mines. Not today, Not tomorrow, nor in 100 years. You will not get your hands on my silver.
You forget I have influential friends. If you won't sell the mines, you'll lose them. Just like Malashov. Along with your life, if you defy me.
Mind your step. Two can play that game. Did you really think that I didn't know you were stealing the royal silver, eh? When your self-proclaimed king finds that out, your head will be on the chopping block.
Seize that traitor!
Not another step.
You'll get yours too, turtle dove. What are you waiting for? Can't you see? They're threatening the Royal Mint Master!
He's one of them! Get him!
Let's
You got him! This one's mine!
Blood! Yeah!
take that or rip your arse!
You'll die for that, you bastard! A day will take your no chance alone! Get him up! We'll finish this quick!
Damn. They gave me a going over. Good thing you showed up, lad.
You alright, sir? Looks like you took some hits.
It's just a scratch.
Papa! My God! You're hurt!
I'm all right. What the hell was that, Rosa?
I saved your life. Didn't you notice?
We would have been in the right if you hadn't taken the shot. Now we have the blood of the king's men on our hands. Do you have any idea what this means?
Was I supposed to let one of Sigismund's lackeys insult us in our own home?
And you thought this was a better solution?
You know what? Let's just leave it be. I don't want to argue in front of the young man here. Apologies for the mess, stranger. There aren't usually so many corpses strewn about our courtyard.
Should I get rid of them?
Absolutely not. We'll call the guards and tell them what happened. That Ulrich Vavak and his men attacked us for no reason.
You think that will make them let us off the hook?
Not for free. But knowing young Plimo, the commander of the guard, I'm sure he won't refuse my coin. But back to you, lad. Who are you? And why have you graced us with your visit?
I'm Henry of Scalitz, squire to Lord Capon of Perkstein.
Pleased to meet you. Conslin Routard. And this feisty creature here is my daughter Rosa.
Like father, like daughter.
Why did your master send you to me, Henry?
He didn't, sir. Unfortunately, he's in enemy captivity.
We're sorry to hear that.
But I plan to rescue him. And I believe you can help me with that.
We can? How?
Lord Capon is held at Malashov.
Our Malashov? I don't envy him. I was planning on fixing the roof before they took it from us. It's full of leaks. I doubt its new master will lift a finger to do anything about it. But tell me, why would I meddle in matters that don't concern me?
Well, we all stand on the same side. Against Sigismund.
That is undoubtedly true. I don't like that ginger bastard either. especially since his people started sticking their fingers in my coffers. But to get involved in something as dangerous as freeing a captured nobleman in a territory conquered by Sigismund?
We have to do something to help. I know it's dangerous.
Dangerous? It's madness. What if somebody finds out?
Nobody will know.
You haven't been in Kuttenberg for long, have you? The walls have ears here. I'd only end up with my head on the chopping block. And I don't even want to think about what they'd do to Rosa.
That's true. As long as Vavak's breathing down our necks, we have to be careful.
Who is he, anyway?
Ulrich Vavak von Neuhaus. The new mint master appointed by Sigismund himself. He's had it in for us ever since he took over the office. He's been pressuring me to hand over my mining rights. It seems he'd like to see me reduced to a beggar. And now we've killed his men. The king's men. I'll have to reach deep into my pocket to get out of that. Like Rosa said, lad, as long as Vavak is around, my hands are tied. I'm sorry.
Then let's get rid of Vavak. He must have some weakness, right?
There may be one. It's obvious Vavak is getting richer than his office warrants. There are rumors going around that he's stealing the king's silver. He even uses it to mint counterfeit groschen, using a fake die. If Sigismund were to find out, he'd have him executed at once, regardless of his noble blood.
Ah, I see. You want to blackmail Vavak?
It certainly wouldn't hurt to have something on him that would put him in his place for good. Some kind of evidence.
But how do we find it?
Some of the silver goes missing somewhere along the way to the mint. And we have to find out where.
Find out? But how? They don't let just anyone into the mines and smelting works.
You're right. Only authorized people are allowed in. Fortunately, we have an ally. My friend Peter of Pisek. They ousted him from the mint master's office, but his brother Christian remained in the Italian court. He wanted to become the mint master himself, but because of Vavak, he had to settle for the steward's office. He hates him even more than we do on account of it.
And that's saying something.
Christian and I were just talking about his suspicions. He'd welcome any dirt you can dig up on Vavak, just as much as I would. If you go to him and ask for help on my behalf, I'm sure he'll accommodate you. I'll help you free Lord Capon in exchange for evidence of Vavak's fraud. That's fair, isn't it?
All right. It's a deal. I've already met Peter of Pisek, and I know he can be trusted. Let's hope the same goes for his brother.
Excellent. You'll find Christian and Horshan at the estate near the mines. Tell him the password, Via Argentum, the pot of silver. He'll know who he's dealing with. But be careful, both of you. This is our last chance to stop Vavak.
We'll be praying for you.
Go! Whoa! Whoa!
Every gaffer recruits his own crew and use virgin veins. Paul's son is hogged there without fixing props.
I don't have time to discuss it with Paul. You'll be watching it from now on, all right? Or I'll have to find another fet.
You can't just sack me, steward. I got this job from Ulrich von Neuhaus.
But I can make sure he knows how you run the place. That's the fifth yucca who got scrushed in here.
This is some jiggery pokery.
Be quiet. And now clear off. You have no business here.
You're a Christian of Pisek?
I am. What do you need?
Kunzlin Ruthard sent me. About Via Argentum.
I see. But I'm afraid I don't have good news for Sir Kunzling. I haven't made much progress regarding the matter we discussed. I just don't have the time to investigate. I'm always needed somewhere, and there's always someone following me around.
Well, that's why I'm here. I'll help you with your investigation.
Excellent. You'd be pulling a thorn from my side. What's your name?
Henry.
All right. Listen up, Henry. Nobody can know I'm looking into it. It's a very dangerous game, but hopefully I don't need to tell you that.
Lord Ruthard mentioned something of the sort.
Excellent. Excellent. You don't happen to come from a family of miners or smelters, do you?
My real father is a nobleman. He oversaw the royal mines in Skalitz.
You don't say. You're the son of Radzig Kobula.
You know him?
Not personally. But I'm well informed about the silver mines in the kingdom, and their overseers. What happened in Skalitz was a great tragedy for the entire kingdom. It was one of the highest yielding mines. How much did your father tell you about its operation?
Hardly anything, actually.
Oh? Well, never mind. We can fix that. I'll be happy to tell you everything you need to know. Now, follow me, please. We need to talk somewhere in private.
Where should I start looking?
Straight to the point. I like that. We know for a fact the silver must be getting lost somewhere on its way to the mint. That means it would be best to discreetly inspect all operations and find out where the problem is. First of all, you should ask miners from every shift how many corves they mine in a day. After that, we'll compare the numbers to the mine record books and see.
But the yields aren't the same every day, right?
True. That's why we have to focus on one particular day. For example, the other day, on the Feast of St. Petronilla, Foreman Fett was beaming and bragging to me about how much he'd mined out.
Couldn't I just ask Fett?
Fett's job is to count the corves and write the amount down in the mine book. He won't tell you any other number. We're interested in what the miners themselves have to say. They've no reason to hide anything. Nevertheless, the miners are a strange bunch. They might not be very forthcoming at first, and they have an odd way of speaking. Like calling each other Sonny, however old they are. But you'll hear for yourself. You should pretend to be really interested in them, and maybe they'll open up to you. You could be a scholar writing a treatise on silver mining, or perhaps a nobleman interested in buying a mine. Or just say I'm your distant uncle who's initiating you into the ins and outs of my job. It's up to you.
I reckon I could pose as a curious scholar.
Suit yourself. Just don't change your story so you don't arouse suspicion. But to the point. Each day, 3 shifts work in the shaft. Each has its foreman, or gaffer, as they say. The first shift is led by Frank, the second by Paul, and the third by Samko. You'll have to ask each one of them how many corves they mined. Samko's hewers should be off work now. You'll find the other 2 shifts in the mine. Take this, so the guards will let you in. It's a letter of safe conduct bearing my seal, allowing you free movement within the mine.
And what are you going to do?
I'll return to the estate to do my job. What else? I reckon they must be wondering where I am by now. Once you find out how many corves the 3 shifts mined on the Feast of St. Petronilla, return to me. We'll compare that number to the entry in the mine book. And don't forget, don't draw attention.
Who owns the silver that's mined here?
All the silver in the Kingdom of Bohemia belongs to the king, whether it's above ground or still below it. Though I'm sure you understand, the king has a lot on his mind, and he can't be expected to worry about mining. So he leases out the mining rights to his tenants. It's called the Burgergal. There's a lot of money in it. The tenants have to pay the king, and the king also receives a share of the pure silver from the smelting works. That's the royal tithe.
What is this path of silver, anyway?
It's the whole process, from digging the silver ore out of the ground and processing it, to minting silver coins. Silver is found in ore veins underground. The pitmen mine it and get it to the surface. The chief foreman of a gallery counts the corves, and the assayer estimates the purchase price of the ore for the smelter. The raw ore goes to the smelter, where it's crushed in a stamp mill before it can be purified by roasting. Roasted ore goes to the furnaces, where it's smelted into raw and then pure silver. Silver is then cast into rods about as thick as your little finger.
Can any silver get lost?
It can. And unfortunately, it does happen. It may be a capital offence, but even that won't deter everyone. Most often, a pitman tries to smuggle pieces of ore under his clothes. It doesn't end well. Nevertheless, the entire path of the silver, from the ore beneath the ground to minted coins, is closely guarded. Every step is recorded in the books, so if someone is stealing large quantities, they must have it pretty damn well figured out.
Who checks the royal share?
The Royal Mintmaster and his subordinates are responsible for collecting the royal share. That also means me and the shaft foreman. That is why every step of the path of silver is monitored and recorded. Starting with how much ore is mined. The smelting works owners don't have to be monitored as closely, since they buy the ore from us. It's in their best interest to get the highest possible yield after deducting the royal share.
Who makes money from all this?
The thing is, everyone does. Pitmen get paid for mining in the shaft. Mine operators get paid for raw ore. The smelters then smelt everything, sell the pure silver, and deduct the raw tithe. The silver rubs off on the hands of anyone who even touches it. But there's still enough left over for the king.
Who owns the mines?
The king grants mining rights to his loyal subjects. And these leaseholders can rent out their privileges to other people. All sorts of people operate mines in Kuttenberg. Nobility, rich burghers, even the monastery. In fact, anyone with enough money to pay for new shafts to be dug can share in the proceeds.
Who's responsible for the mines?
The mines and the mint are supervised directly by the Royal Mintmaster, Ulrich Vervark von Neuhaus. As the steward, I'm his direct subordinate. I oversee that everything runs smoothly on his behalf. Then come the chief foreman, then the other foreman, and finally the ordinary pitmen in the shafts. But I don't come in contact with them very often. We follow the path of silver until the moment an ore merchant buys the ore from us and takes it to a smelter.
How much do the mines pay to the king?
That depends on whether it's a royal mine or a mine in the hands of a mining guild, meaning the leaseholders.
I thought all mines were owned by the king.
That's right. But it's much more profitable for the king to grant mining rights to rich mine operators. They bear the cost of mining themselves and pay him a share. The king receives 1/3 of the profits from his own mines, but only 1/5 from the leaseholders. That's how he gets what's his from all the mining.
What about the other 2/3 of the profits from the king's mines?
Those go towards the costs, of course. For operations, wages, and shaft security.
Who's responsible for the smelting works?
They have their own owners. They buy ore from us and smelt it into pure silver. Then, they deduct the royal tithe, and they can sell the rest. And not just silver. Processing the ore yields a variety of other materials that can be sold just as well.
What happens in the smelting works?
Each smelting shop has a stamp mill, a roasting pit, and a smelting furnace. The stamp mill is used to crush the ore into smaller pieces to make it easier to process. After that, the crushed ore is roasted in a roasting pit to remove most of the impurities. Finally, everything is smelted in a furnace to separate the pure silver from the slag.
So it's processed similarly to steel for smithing?
Yes. But in steelmaking, you don't have to weigh and record every step thrice.
How are groschen made from the silver?
The royal share from the smelting works goes to the mint in the Italian court. There, the coiners hammer it out into silver sheets for cutting the coin blanks. Then, in the Italian court's preghouse, our minters cut out and punch new groschen.
How many mints are there in total?
Only the main one is left, the one in the Italian court. There used to be more of them throughout the kingdom, but King Wenceslas II united them all. It was he who contributed the most to the rise of the Prague groschen and the wealth of this region. And of course, his own wealth too.
By the way, I've had the honour of meeting your brother, Peter.
Well, well. Small world.
He was a great help to us at Suchdol.
Even though we had some disagreements, I respect him for everything he succeeded in doing. If it weren't for him, I'd never have been able to do what I do.
Floated again.
Are you Foreman Samko?
Aye, I am. And who's asking?
My name is Henry. Steward Christian sent me to you. I'm a student from Prague.
and I'm writing a treatise on miners and mine operations.
Why should I care? Didn't you see we're off graft?
Sir Christian told me to ask about anything that interests me, and that you'll tell me.
Ah, Sonny, I'm so tired. I haven't even got the strength for gabbing. I wouldn't mind having a game of dice, but minus rules. Then I'll tell you everything. What'd you say?
You should obey Sir Christian and just tell me what I want to know. You don't want him coming to you when you're off work to tell you off.
That I don't, kidder. Ask away, then.
What is the work of a miner about?
Aye, that's a good question, Mara. Mostly about oaking. Any yakker'll tell you that. But proper rest is even more important than graft. You're as weak as a midgie without it.
So how do you rest?
Depends. Some have a kip, some a swally, some go whoring. As for me, I play dice.
How do you mine ore?
Either we're on hard rock, and then no one's hewing shit, or we're hewing something soft, and then it goes grand. Only then there's not much silver in the ore, and you've got to smelt the shit out of it.
How much do you make doing this?
Don't even get me started. The chink's bad, and it's getting worse. Half a grosh and a cough is no.
How many corves did you mine on, say, the Feast of St. Petronilla?
I can tell you exactly. All the yakkers were working, and we were getting along nicely. We managed to hulk 34 corves, without skimping on hame time. First time in ages, that was.
That's all I need to know. Foreman Frank?
What you looking for, Sonny? Can't you see we're hewing?
Sir Christian of Pisek sent me. I'm a student at the university in Prague. Henry, I'm writing a treatise on silver mining.
I didn't know you scribblers were interested in us ordinary yakkers, but you can't just amble around. You'll cap your creels.
I'll just have a few questions.
The more we gab, the less we gar. But make it snappy, man. What do you want to know, like?
What is the work of a miner really about?
What's it about? Bugger all, kidder. No great shakes. We gans through the roads, Bella. Hewing off from rock in the dark and breathing in the stithe.
How exactly do you mine ore?
Bloody hell. Have you never seen a yakker graft, kidder? You take a kevel and ding away at the rock till it crumbles. And if you keep ganning at it for a couple of years and don't croak from the stithe, then you'll keel over from exhaustion or get scrushed by the ceiling of the road you're hewing.
How do you get the ore outside?
Same way it's hewed, in the dark and in coves. On top of that, you spend a lot of the bloody time on all fours. Once you get out by with the cough, you get a tally, and you can get back in by.
How much do you get for your work?
I'll tell you, man. Them deputies up at bank make a howfin' pile of chink. But us buggers, the ones doing all the graft, we earn a pittance.
Can you give me a more specific number?
Sometimes, not even half a grosh and a cough. That's near way to make a living, man.
I wonder, how much do you mine in a day?
That depends on how much ore you howk out of this or that face. It varies.
How much did you mine, say, on the Feast of St. Petronilla?
Listen, kidder. Aren't you a bit too curious? Why do you need to know that for? Them numbers won't be useful to nobody.
I really need to know it for my work. My treatise won't be complete without it. Est rerum omnium magister usus. Experience is the best teacher. And you have that experience.
Aye, well, a clever head but a gawk-handed, eh? Alright, I'll tell ya. It was a good gar on the feast of St. Petronilla. Our yakkers hewed 36 corves.
Thanks.
Nah, thank ye. Now leave us to hew, Mara. We've got a lot of graft ahead of us. Farewell, my friend.
Excuse me. Good doggy.
Good boy.
Ka!
Whoa.
Quick!
Whoa.
Quick! Go!
Whoa. Whoa.
Ka! Ka!
Whoa. Whoa.
Ka!
Whoa. Whoa. Are you Foreman Paul?
Hey! You walk like a ghost, kidder. You gave me a bit of a fright there. Hold on. I don't know ye. Who are you? And what are you doing so deep in the pit?
My name's Henry. Sir Christian sent me. I'm a student at the university in Prague, and I'm writing a thesis on the life and lot of miners. Are you praying? Why?
The day before the feast of St. Petronilla, a kidder was hawking here. Young jaybird, a young'un, still wet behind the ears. We dinged the berg, set it ablaze, all good. He took a mell, battered the fault, and the props spangued out. It all came crashing down on him. Done him right in, it did.
That's awful. I'm sorry about your friend.
He weren't just me marrow. He were my blood. I raised him from a nipper since my sister died. He kept begging me to take him on a shift, saying he was strong as a horse. Wouldn't it take no like. And now, how can he forgive myself?
Come on, it wasn't your fault. Accidents happen. It's God's will.
I suppose you're right. Will you pray with me for his soul one last time?
Aye. I'll pray with you.
You're a canny lad. Repeat after me. Almighty and merciful God, our Father, you are the giver of gold, silver, bronze, copper,
Almighty
tin,
and merciful
iron,
God,
and
our
all
Father,
ores and metals.
you are the giver
I
of
ask that you
gold,
bless me
silver,
brother who has died in this
bronze,
mine.
copper,
And may your
tin,
holy angels
iron,
save his soul from
and all
damnation.
ores and metals.
Bring his soul
I
to
ask that you
eternal
bless
glory
my
through
brother
our Lord,
who has died
our
in his
Saviour and
mind.
Redeemer, Jesus
May your
Christ.
holy angels save his soul from
The angel of the
damnation.
Lord declared
Bring his
to
soul
Mary,
to eternal
and she
glory
conceived the Holy
through our
Spirit.
Lord, our
Hail
Saviour
Mary.
and Redeemer,
Mary said,
Jesus
Behold,
Christ.
I am the handmaid
Amen.
of the Lord. Be it done unto me according to thy word. Hail Mary. And the word was made flesh, and dwelt among us. Hail Mary. Pray for us, O Holy Mother of God, that we may be made worthy of the promises of Christ. Pour forth, we beseech thee, O Lord, thy great...
So, are you going to answer me now?
Aye. Thanks for praying with me. Ask a boot out.
What is the work of a miner about?
What it's about? It's about you in the face and hauling the ore to the bank in coves. Over and over again. Proper graft, that. Can be real dodgy, mind. Might even do you in.
Are deaths in the mine common?
Aye. But every death in the shaft is a waste. Whether it's in a crumple or black damp. Unfortunately, we still bury a yakka or two a month, you know. That's life, like.
How is the ore mined?
First, we have to survey the shaft and find ore. Then the place gets scored and set ablaze. We set up timber around. The hewers take their tools and start dinging rock and hewing ore. Nothing to it.
How much do you make doing this?
Depends on how much we hawk. How hard the rock is, how much ore's in it. It's not really worth it, though. Half a grosh and a corf isn't much of a fight.
So how many corves did you mine, say, on the Feast of St. Petronilla?
That weren't a good day. Nobody was in the mood for ganning on after what happened to Jaybird. But even so, we managed to hawk 30 corves.
That's all I need to know.
I'm sorry.
Gepriesen seid...
I already know how many corvs the crews extracted on the Feast of St. Petronilla. It was 100 altogether.
I see. Meanwhile, I looked in the mine book. How many do you think it says there?
I'd guess it's less.
Then you'd be correct. The book lists 90 corvs extracted. That means 10 corvs of ore disappear each day. But nobody could just come along and take them. We keep a close watch on everything. The unreported corvs must be going out to smelting works with the rest of the ore. That means...
What does it mean?
that this is fraud of colossal proportions, and that Foreman Fett and Herman the ore merchant are in it up to their ears.
Should I go to them and accuse them?
Well, accuse? We want to hear everything they know. That means you need to talk to them. But be very careful. Being involved in the theft of silver is a capital crime, so it should be in their own interest to cooperate. Make sure to promise them no one will know about their crime. You can mention my name. When you've talked to them, come back to me and we'll figure out what to do next.
We need to talk, Herman.
And who might you be?
Henry. But that's not important. Sir Christian sent me. We found some discrepancies in the mine book.
Discrepancies?
How do you explain that the miner has extracted 100 corves of ore on the Feast of St. Petronilla, but the book only says 90?
If it says 90, there must have been 90. The book does not lie.
Or someone is writing down false numbers and hiding 10 corves.
I do not write anything in the book myself. Foreman Fett counts the corves here. Go and talk to him instead.
Don't tell me you don't count them too. You wouldn't pay for more corves than there really were.
Do you have any idea how much ore passes through my hands? How am I supposed to remember how many there were ausgerechnet on the Fest of St. Petronilla? Besides, miners can lie and say they extracted more than they did. They like to show off.
All 3 crews agreed to report more. I seriously doubt that. Look, you don't have to be afraid to tell the truth. Me and Sir Christian agreed to settle the matter quietly. We're not going to punish anyone.
I am innocent. It was Fett's idea. He came to me saying we were going to deliver more corves to the smelters than we would report, and I would get paid for it. It was going well. I have always paid for what we put in the book. Then I got some geld from Fett on the side. On the Feast of St. Petronilla, I was afraid they would be able to tell the difference. 10 corves is 10 corves after all. Nobody at the smelting works cared at all. I am sure they are in on it too.
How long has this been going on?
Several months. Maybe half a year. About since Sigismund arrived.
Is Ulrich Vavak behind this?
The Mint Master? I have no idea. I am a mere assayer. I have never even met Vavak.
Sir Christian and I agreed to investigate the matter in secret, so just act like nothing's going on. Keep doing what you're doing. We don't want to scare off the people who are actually responsible. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. I will be as silent as the grave.
Whoa.
At your service.
A word, Foreman.
Who are you, and what do you want?
I'm Henry, but that's not important. Sir Christian sent me. I need to discuss a delicate matter with you.
Don't tell me one of the yakkers shat all over the outhouse in the yard again.
I'm afraid it's a little worse than that. We found some discrepancies in the mine book.
Let Sir Christian handle it then. They're his books, and his responsibility too.
But you're the one counting the corves of ore.
Your point being?
I learned that the miners extracted no less than 100 corves on the Feast of St. Petronilla, but the mine book says 90.
Do you think the Yakkers know how to count? They're blockheads, and they like to show off. I'm sure they just exaggerated. Anyway, what's it to you? Did the steward send you to snoop around? Don't you know? I work for Vavak, the mint master himself. I'm under his protection.
Aye, there's no point in denying it. Herman told me everything.
Bloody snitch.
But like him, you have nothing to be afraid of. You're small fry. It's obvious there's some bigger fish involved. And that's what interests me.
Alright, I'll tell you what I know. As soon as I was made head gaffer, Amara, who works at the smelting works in Grund, came to me. He said someone wanted to talk to me. One of them. So I met this fella in the tavern in Grund, and he told me how it all works. How to cut the books like. He told me the trick was not to report some of the extracted ore, and transport it secretly to the smelters, along with the rest. He made it very clear, if I didn't play along, I could have an accident. There was nothing I could do.
Who was that fella from the smelter who came to you?
He never told me his name, even when I asked. He's a tall bloke, stocky, pockmarked. I don't scare easy, but this bloke was terrifying.
How long has this been going on?
For some time now, definitely. I heard even former head gaffer Kircher was in on it too.
Where can I find him?
You can't ask Kircher any questions. He fell down a shaft. They say he was drunk. But I don't think it was an accident.
Who pays you on the side? You have to pay the miners for what they actually extracted.
I get the extra chink from the smelting works. It's enough for the Yakkers and for Herman.
Do you think the mint master, Ulrich Vavak, is behind this?
I don't know. I've got naught bad to say about Vavak. He treats me canny whenever he shows up. He says if Christian gives us hassle, he'd sooner replace him than me. He really said that. The mint master himself.
All right. Just carry on as if nothing's happened. No one must find out we know about the fraud. Christian won't give you any trouble, nor will anyone else. Is that clear?
Clear as a bell, Mara. I'll be silent as the grave.
I talked to Fett and Herman.
And? Did they confess?
They did. I mean, I made them. It's just as we thought. The trail leads to the smelting works.
Did you tell them to keep quiet and act as if nothing's happening?
I did.
Let's see what we've got so far. Those 10 unreported corves leave for the smelting works from here. If silver's going missing, that's where it must be happening. You'll have to go and look around, and talk to the owner, Buresh. I reckon that'll be tricky, though.
How so?
Buresh is a very cautious and clever man. I reckon he won't be happy to have someone snooping around his property. But he's the only one who can give you permission to walk round the smelting works without the guards bothering you.
Something like your letter of safe conduct. How can I persuade him to give me one?
Like I said, it won't be easy. Nevertheless, I found a way you could gain his trust, at least a little. You'll pretend to be a nobleman interested in buying some smelting works, who'd like to get a closer look at his operation.
A nobleman this time, then?
But be careful. Buresh won't be as easily fooled as the simple pitman here. You'll have to dress like a real nobleman. That means no plate armor, or, God forbid, bloody rags. But listen, don't carry a weapon. Buresh has a morbid fear of someone threatening him. That's why he has a bodyguard with him at all times. You must come to him dressed to the nines and act impeccably, so as not to arouse the slightest suspicion. In short, be charismatic. As charismatic as you can manage.
What should I wear?
Like I said, some decent clothes. I reckon you can imagine what those look like. If you don't have anything of the sort, visit a tailor. If you're charismatic enough, Buresh is sure to believe your intentions are good. And make sure you wash up before you go.
What else should I know about the smelting works before I go?
In the smelting works, ore from the mines is crushed, ground, and then smelted. They extract silver along with all sorts of other materials from it. Then they give part of the silver to the king for the minting of groschen and sell off the rest, along with the other materials, to craftsmen.
What should I know about this Buresh before I talk to him?
He's the slyest fox of them all. He comes from somewhere in Moravia, and he moved to Kuttenberg a few years ago. He started to prosper soon after, and not even Sigismund's arrival stopped him. He quickly joined his side. Now he's doing better and better. But whether that means he's involved in something shady, who knows?
I got it. I'm ready to go.
Here, I've written you a letter of introduction to take with you and give to Buresh. I reckon he won't be thrilled, but he won't turn you down. Ask him discreetly, in passing, how many corves he took from our mines on the feast of St. Petronilla. If my guess is correct, it should be 90. It still doesn't prove anything, but at least it'll give us a clue. You could get something out of the workers. One of them is bound to know something. When you're in the smelting works, keep your eyes peeled. I'm sure something is going on there. Good luck, Henry.
Lovely smell.
What's going on? Never mind. I thought there was something fishy.
Ka! Go! Ka!
Whoa! Whoa!
You're not allowed here!
God be with you.
Don't come near me with that weapon. I see some people just can't dress appropriately.
Greetings, Master Buresh. I'm Henry of Scallis.
Nice clothes. You've got good taste.
Thank you, Goodman. Likewise, Christian of Pisek sent me. I'm supposed to give you this letter with his testimonial.
Skalitz, you say? That's where the royal mines are. Am I right?
You are. Unfortunately, the mining has ceased since King Sigismund's attack.
That truly is unfortunate. Christian writes that your family is interested in running a smelter. But I'm not selling any.
I know. I just want to see what it looks like in the smelting works.
Well, if Sir Christian wishes it, I won't deny you the opportunity. With this letter of safe conduct, you'll be able to move around unfettered. The guards will recognize my seal. But I don't want you disturbing the workers with any unnecessary questions. If you want to know anything, ask me.
Can you tell me what happens with the mined ore in the smelting works?
We weigh in the delivered ore and crush it so that it can be sorted for roasting. Roasting mainly separates sulfur from the ore, which is why the place smells like hell itself. Then the roasted material is smelted in the furnace and the slag is separated from the matte. The smelting process is repeated until we're left with pure metal. It's then cast into bars that can be sold. After we've given the royal share to the king, that is.
How many corves of ore do you process here per day?
We don't measure in corves here. I have several ore merchants working for me. They buy ore from various mines. When they deliver it here, we don't measure it by the corf, but weigh by the quintal. We process a large amount here, up to several thousand quintals a day in total.
How much silver does that make?
That, of course, depends on the quality of the ore we process that day. 20 quintals of ore usually yield about a pound of raw silver. That then yields a hryvnia of pure silver. We can make between 100 and 200 hryvnias of pure silver per day.
Can any silver go missing from here?
That's impossible. Everything is carefully weighed and recorded. Every step is counted and checked. Besides, molten silver is rather hard to steal. Once it's cast into bars, we keep them safe under lock and key.
How many corves were delivered from Horsham, say, on the Feast of St. Petronilla?
Why from Horsham, of all places?
I visited the mine there. They told me they'd extracted quite a large amount.
You're lucky. I have an excellent memory. It was a lot indeed. 90 corves.
God be with you, Goodman.
Don't forget, there are limits to my permission. And above all, mind you don't have an accident. Smelters are dangerous places. God be with you, sir.
Could I...
Shima.
What?
My name's Shima. You have no business being here. What do you want?
I'd like to ask you something.
I can't talk right now. Meet me outside in a while. Now you better get out of here before the guards see you. Fuck. I have to have a piss. You take over here, lads. I'll be right back.
My respects.
Well, can you talk now?
Who are you, fella?
Henry. Sir Christian of Pisac sent me.
The steward of the mint? And why did he send you?
I'm interested in the operations of the smelter.
What would you like to know?
What does your job entail?
Here in the smelter, the extracted ore turns into pure silver right under our hands. Bloody miracle, right? Horse shit. It's an awful, filthy fucking graft for a few miserable groschen. If I could, I'd fuck off somewhere over the hills. But I've a family, and they don't ask me what I really want.
How do you like working in the smelter?
It's a shitty fucking job. My back aches something awful from shoveling heaps of ore back and forth. You're always breathing stive from the furnace, and then you cough your soul out after the shift is over. We'll all be crippled wrecks in a few years. That's how it is.
What can you tell me about Master Buresh?
Listen, all folks like him care about is lining their purses. They don't care if we break our backs because of it. On the other hand, I don't think it's any better anywhere else.
What happens to the silver from the smelting works?
The bars are kept under lock and key in a safe place until a merchant or the blokes from the mint come and get them. Only the owner of the smelter and a handful of select people have access to them, such as the foreman of the works, who checks the purity.
Have you noticed anything suspicious at the works?
What do you mean?
Does any silver go missing from here, by any chance?
Why should I talk to you about such things? How can I know it's not a trap?
Look, I know my way around silver mining. I'm conducting an expert investigation. Justice is blind. If someone's bypassing the production process just to stuff their purse, they're hurting more than just the king. Especially you, the grafters, the yackers and smelters. And that pisses me off, because I'm actually one of you.
Right. I reckon you could be. Listen up then. It's Volkmar. He's the head smelter. He's worked with us for years. Recently, he bought stables here in Grund, out of the blue. The entire stables. Where do you think he got the money? It's all very suspicious, because he's the one with the best access to the finished silver bars. If you want to find out where the silver keeps going missing, go to him. I'll bet you he knows a thing or two about it. But be careful, and keep a weapon close. People like him can be vicious.
Thank you. Are you Volkmar?
I'm not.
Horseshit. I know these stables are yours.
You must be the snoop who's sticking his nose in everything.
I beg your pardon?
Well, well, well. Don't think we don't know you've been snooping around. We've had our eyes on you ever since you came to Grund. Fortunately, Master Buresh warned me about you in time. Your investigation ends. Right here and now.
You shouldn't have stuck your nose in here, pal. Grund is ours.
Take him down!
Let's do it then. You'll all die. I don't care how many of you there are. I'll hack you to pieces. And my dog will finally get a proper meal. Whoa! A tough nut! Where are you going, cowards? You're a dead man. Now, spill the beans. You're responsible for stealing the king's silver.
Not me. It's Buresh. If I didn't play along with him, I'd lose my job. All my life. It's true. As Volkmar is my name, I swear on everything that's holy.
Take it from the beginning.
As head smelter, I test the quality of the silver that's been smelted every day. I have unrestricted access to it. One day, Buresh came to me and said he had an offer for me. He said if I accepted, he'd make me rich. He gave me his man to assist me. I'd take some of the king's silver bars and add them to Buresh's yield. The books were cooked, so no one found out anything. Everything was going well, and Buresh was happy. A few weeks later, he sent me to the mines. I was supposed to make a deal with the new foreman, Fett, and pay him off. In the end, I had to force him to cooperate, just like Buresh forced me. With threats.
Why didn't Buresh take the silver himself? Why did he need you?
The Mint Master's men watch over the transport of the king's silver. They take turns. Buresh had it all figured out.
Aren't you ashamed to steal from the king?
And which king did I steal from exactly? Wenceslas or Sigismund? I didn't care, man. I earned some nice chink, and that was that for me.
Moving on, where does the unreported silver go?
There are mined-out shafts near Old Kutna, where nobody ever goes. Buresh has a secret mint in one of them.
They counterfeit coins in there?
Yeah, I suppose so. But what they actually do there, I've no idea. I've never been there. Buresh only told me about the mint a while ago. He wanted to send me there for some reason, so he drew me a map.
Did Buresh ever mention that Mint Master Vavak was involved in it?
Not in front of me. Maybe his guard, Little Neri, knew something. But you won't be able to ask him anything anymore.
Give me the map.
Yeah, if you take the road to Old Kutna, you'll reach the place where the abandoned shafts are. The entrance to the mint is somewhere around there. Look here. Can I ask you a question? Why are you doing this anyway?
I'm convinced Mint Master Vavak is somehow involved in the whole affair. I'm looking for proof.
Yeah, I can't help you there. I never heard Buresh say nothing about Vavak. Well, now you have the map, and since I told you everything, will you let me go? Please? I know I wanted to, but I was just scared is all. Please let me go, please. Stables be damned, just let me go.
I'm quite sure you have coin. So pay up, and you'll be free.
Here, take it all. Thank you. I'll go to Kuttenberg and get fixed up there somehow. And if we meet again, I'll make it up to you. I swear, you're a good, merciful man. God be with you.